What is up, NASCAR racing fans? You're watching the NASCAR Nitro Series on the HSL Diecast Racing channel. And today we got qualifying for the stocks at Talladega. And it's the Roll Tide 499 because the main event of the races is going to have an extra lap. At this track, the middle lane does not touch the walls of the funnel chute. That's the preferred lane. And during the race, the cars are going to go down the split track 3 wide. And now we're going to kick things off with Dave Marcus going up against our points leader, William. Look at this. Dave Marcus just blasts out of the gate, but then bounces around from the funnel chute. That allows William to catch up and try to make a move. William catches up to his back bumper, and then Dave Marcus bins it coming out of the turns. William takes full advantage of this. Made some contact that slows him down, but he does cross the finish line. And let's see if Russ can have better luck. Once again, the outside lane gets a great start off the gate. Russ swerving around to block the heavy favorite Skeeter Davis. Russ now has a comfortable 3-car length lead over Skeeter Davis, but then he pops a tire. Stalls on the track. Skeeter Davis rams into the back of him. Stalls on the track himself. That's a double DNF. They're both going to have to race their way in. Just horrible luck there. 3 out of the 4 drivers didn't finish the lap so far. Now we have Margot going up against Baby Richie. Both of them navigate the funnel chute smoothly. Margot, with a track segment lead, flies across the finish line. Baby Richie does not have enough time to catch up. He finishes the lap as well. And now we have Gale going up against the all-time wins leader, Johnson Jr. And look at this. Johnson Jr. stalls, trying to put his car into first gear. There he goes. He finally gets it going. He's got a lot of ground to make up on Gale. She's got a full track segment lead, almost a full lap lead over Johnson Jr. Gale navigates the turn smoothly, crosses the finish line, takes the checkers. Johnson Jr. playing catch-up. That one wasn't even close. And now we have Emerson going up against NCOW. The gates are down. They both exit the start gate smoothly. They are side by side heading towards the bottom of the split track. Emerson with a half a car length lead. Reverse side drafts NCOW. And that makes NCOW lose all of his momentum. Emerson takes a 2-track segment lead over NCOW across the finish line. NCOW barely crawls across it. He does finish the lap, though. And up next, we have 2 McDonald's cars going up against each other. It's Clyde versus Vinny. Nightlife. And look at Vinny Nightlife. Finally gets the jump on somebody, but Clyde reverse side drafts him, gets side by side, pushes him off the track. That's a DNF for Vinny Nightlife. He'll have to race his way in once again. And now we have Lunatic Alicia going up against Jimbo Rockford in his brand new car. It's a Lumina Stalker, much like Crazy Ruby and the Blue Uno of Ross Chastain. But it's looking like Alicia doesn't care about that at all. She's got a 2-car length lead over Jimbo Rockford in his new car. He rubber bands to her back bumper, but it's too little too late. Alicia moves on to the next round. And up next, we got a pair of real speed demons. We got Far Out J for In-Laws Racing going up against the legendary Coffee Tar. And look at this. Far Out J took the early lead, but he loses control on the straightaway. Takes a hard right-hand turn off the track. Barrel rolls on the outside, miraculously lands on his wheels. Still a DNF for him. Now let's focus in on him on the replay. And if you weren't counting, that was 5.5 flips. Almost ends up on his roof there. It's not Talladega without some flipping and rolling. And now up next we have teammates. Texas Terry going up against Morgan Shepherd. Nearly identical castings, but Texas Terry's car, of course, has been glued back together after the wreck at Martinsville. And look at this. Texas Terry just loses all of his speed on the straightaway, lets his teammate fly by him. Morgan Shepherd on the inside with a slick maneuver to get himself into the next round. And up next, we have Charlie going up against Regular Richie. And now the gates are down. Charlie rockets out of the start gate. She's got a 4-car length lead, almost a track segment before they even hit the bottom of the split track. Loses just a little bit of speed in the funnel chute. Flies through there smooth as butter, though. Richie picks up some ground in the turns, but it won't be enough. Charlie moves on to the next round. And up next, we have Sawyer going up against Rusty Wallace. And so far this year, Sawyer's been one of the fastest but most inconsistent cars, as he seems to either DNQ or get into the main event every race. And right as they transition onto the front stretch, Sawyer starts fishtailing. The retaining wall keeps him from going off the track the first time, but Rusty Wallace punts him the second time. I don't know where the heck Sawyer thinks he's going. Takes a hard right deeper into the infield. And now he'll have to race his way in. Let's see if Rusty's teammate, Tristan Racewelski, can also move on to the round of 17. He's got the 65-gram 1948 Ford Moonshiners Coupe of Violet to go up against. And they're side by side down the split track. A clean pass by Tristan Racewelski. He continues to gain ground, wins it by 3 car lengths. And now we have a pair of Isaacs on the track for Puffs Racing. Riot Isaac versus Regular Isaac. And Riot Isaac drops the hammer right out of the start gate. He really needs this, as he's trailing all 3 of his teammates quite a bit. The only one that doesn't even have a top 10 yet. And Regular Isaac bump draft and trying to make something happen. loses control on the backstretch. It's going to be Riot Isaac moving on to the next round. Now we got just 3 more heats to go in the round of 16. This time it's Nessa Force going up against Gator McCluskey. And Nessa Force with the early lead gets squirrely on the backstretch and drives off the track. Flips over twice, makes it easy for Gator McCluskey. He gets by without any contact. And up next we have Crazy Ruby going up against Pantone. Pantone, like a lot of the other guys that started on the outside, gets the jump early, but Crazy Ruby's caught up and they make contact. They hit each other multiple times before Crazy Ruby pushes Pantone off the track. And that's not a choke job like Nessa Force. That is simply a heavier car out-muscling a lighter one. And now we have the last matchup for the round of 32. We have Rowan going up against Lord Shank. Lord Shank tags Rowan's back bumper, tries to knock him loose. And Lord Shank pushes the nose of his car in there, but Rowan throws a sideways block. Holds off Lord Shank at the finish line. We got to take a closer look here. He may not have actually crossed the line, Lord Shank. And yes, the HSL drone pivots closer to the finish line, and Lord Shank is a few millimeters short. That's a DNF. He'll have to race his way in the last chance race. And now it's time for your first matchup of the round of 16. We got William going up against Baby Richie. And look at that vicious reverse side draft William throws. Leaves Baby Richie far behind in the dust. But did he lose too much momentum himself? He loses control on the backstretch, grinds against the guardrail, and stops short of the finish line. Neither one of them will be moving on to the round of 8. Now let's see if it's going to be Margot or Clyde that moves on. So far, Margot gets sideways and pushes Clyde off the track. He's upside down on his roof. And that T-Bird stalker's got 20 grams on Margot's Camaro. You just can't allow yourself to get bodied by a car that small. Margot loses all her speed doing that and also grinds short of the finish line. At this rate, if people are going to drive like that, both Coffee Tart and Gail are going to make it to the round of 8 if they finish the lap, which Gail is not going to do. She gets pushed off the track by Coffee Tart. Once again, a much larger car gets absolutely destroyed by a car weighing a good 10 grams less. And if you look right here, Coffee Tart doesn't even touch the walls of the funnel chute. She just pushes Gail's car off to the side. Completely out of spite, real Radman style. And so far, she's the only driver to finish the lap. If that remains the case for the rest of this session, she gains the pole by default. Spots 1 through 16 are going to be determined by a draw. So we got 5 more sets of cars for the round of 16, and look at this. Morgan Shepherd and Emerson crisscrossing and weaving across the track. Great battle going on, but Emerson loses control. So does Morgan Shepherd on the backstretch. Another double DNF. And so far, Coffee Tart has the pole. And now let's see if Alicia Lunatic can bring some redemption to In-Laws Racing. She enters the fat track with a track segment lead against Rusty Wallace, but stalls on the guardrail, gets punted by Rusty Wallace off of the track. Rusty Wallace loses all of his speed from that punt. Yet another double DNF. These drivers in this round of 16 seem to care more about hitting each other than winning the pole. And now let's see if that rings true for the Camaro stalker of Charlie for the Gimpy gang. And look at that jump she gets from the start gate. A track segment lead over Tristan heading into the fat track. Smooth as a hot knife through butter through the funnel chute. Tristan Racewelski gaining some ground, but it won't be enough. Charlie and Tristan finish the lap. Coffee Tart's got some competition for the pole after all. And now it's Gator McCluskey going up against Riot Isaac. And look at this. Gator McCluskey gets bodied by Riot Isaac, who then drives off the track and tries to cut through the infield like it's the Watkins Glen chicane in a video game. But then he runs out of steam before he can merge back onto the track. Yet another double DNF in this round of 16. And it's looking to be a single 3-person race for the pole unless Crazy Ruby or Rowan has something else to say about that. Rowan gets a great shot out from the start gate, but then takes a sharp left-hand turn into the infield. Crazy Ruby didn't seem to be affected by that too much. Doesn't lose any speed as she cruises her way to victory. We had exactly 4 drivers finish the lap in the round of 16. So they're going to race for the pole, and all these guys that DNF'd are going to race for starting spots 5 through 16. This first heat, Clyde runs away with it by half a lap over his twin brother and teammate William. There's going to be another one of these heat races after this, and where they place is who they're going to draw against. They're set by points. And let's take a look at the wreckage. There's Alicia Lunatic and what's left of Rowan's car after his DNF. And gates are down for the second heat race. There's Baby Richie. Next to him, Morgan Shepherd. After this, we're going to have our contest for the pole. It's going to be 4 drivers straight to the pole position. Caution's out for an El Reco. Gator McCluskey bins it heading into turn number 1. And when you look at that, Morgan Shepherd almost takes it from Baby Richie, but he runs out of real estate at the last second. Now that we got those races out of the way, it's time for the final 4 to race each other for the pole. Starting on the outside, because he actually finished second in his round of 16 matchup, is Tristan Racewelski, and he has to go up against the lightning fast Camaro of Coffee Tart. But would you look at this? He gets off to a great start, throws a block on Coffee Tart, and he continues to hold the line to the finish line. Let's see who he's going to be going up against. Either Coffee Tart's teammate, Crazy Ruby, and a mechanically identical Luminous Stalker to last season's champion, Ross Chastain, or to Coffee Tart's satellite teammate, Charlie, and a mechanically identical Camaro Stalker. And the gates are down. It looks like it's going to be Charlie. She's got a 4-car length lead over Crazy Ruby, and it continues to get bigger as they head to the finish line. And it's Charlie that takes the checkered flag. She chooses the outside lane because cars have been faster in it all day long, and this is no exception. And Charlie shoots out of the outside gate like a rocket. She's got a track segment plus lead over Tristan Racewelski already, heading into the split track. Smooth as butter through the funnel chute. Charlie gets caught up on the guardrail, drives off the track. Tristan Racewelski with a stroke of luck. A completely unforced error by Charlie hands Tristan Racewelski the pole as long as he can finish the lap. And he does. Tristan Racewelski is going to be your pole sitter. Now that we have the pole position settled, we're going to move on to the drivers that lost in the round of 32, trying to avoid the dreaded 0-2 bracket. Because being in that 0-2 bracket gets you a terrible starting spot, puts you at a disadvantage in the race. And so far, it looks like Johnson Jr. is going to run away with this one because Terry Labonte with a multiple car length lead runs into the outside retaining wall, completely flips over on his roof. Johnson Jr., great maneuver to avoid his wreckage, wins himself a slightly better starting spot with that. Now let's see if Regular Isaac or N count. Already making some heavy contact as they enter the fat track. They are smashing into each other. Absolutely brutal driving as Regular Isaac runs out of steam before he enters the turn. And all that driving looks like it cost N-Count some of his juice too. He's going to fall short of the finish line. Both of them go into the 0-2 bracket. And up next we have Jimbo Rockford going up against Regular Richie. Regular Richie, of course, has a win in the series at Le Mans. Jimbo Rockford, multiple podiums to kick off the season, still looking for his first career win. This is his first race attempt in his new car, trying to turn his luck of late around. And it's going to be Jimbo Rockford that moves on. And that is it for the consolation segments due to all the double DNFs in qualifying. Now we're going to go to the field filler races. Dale Jr. is the only one that gets in there. It's only natural for him at Talladega. The ones that stay on their wheels, we're going to keep track of where they end up on the track to determine where the field fillers go. If less than 43 cars finish a lap here between here and the last chance qualifiers, and a lot of these guys are flea market cars. They're stopping short of the finish line. That's no exception. We have actually a big one there. And it seems that with a full field of 6 cars, the middle lane actually has the advantage because they don't touch the walls of the funnel chute. And just as I'm saying that, Cole Custer gets hung up on the start gate there. So that being said, he is a field filler. The middle lane did pretty well in this segment. So how it's going to be in the races, the middle lane is first, inner lane is second, outer lane is third. And here are your draws for position, the different finishing positions. We have our draw for 3rd, 5th, 7th. In this picture, you just saw the draws for the 1-in-1 consolation bracket as well. Riot Isaac gets an ace of spades. That was the draw for 9th place, and a good starting spot for him, still looking for his first career top 10. Now the guys that finished towards the back of those consolation heats. A narrow tiebreaker for Gator McCluskey over Rowan. It goes spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs when 2 drivers get the same number. And here are some of the drivers that won their consolation heats. That queen is a nice thing you want to see when you have a 4 and a 5 in blackjack. And now let's take a look at the only field fillers to finish the lap. Christian Fittipaldi finished the lap after getting a top 10 in his debut. He's really come onto the scene. Gravedigger gets the high draw here. And now here we have the last chance qualifiers. These guys DNF'd in the round of 32. 26 drivers finished laps so far. So if you finish the lap, you're in. If you don't, we're going to measure where you ended up on the track as long as you land on your wheels. And cautions out for a big one. Skeeter Davis, flawless through the funnel chute, doesn't even touch the wall. Onto the guardrail and got sideways. Nessa Force made it through. Vinny Nightlife didn't. Now let's see if Lord Shanks, Sawyer, and Russ can avoid an incident like that. Sawyer and Russ side by side heading into the fat track. Now look at this. Sawyer absolutely crushes Lord Shanks' car, takes him out, takes himself out. I don't know what the heck Sawyer was thinking. An absolutely boneheaded move. Takes both of them out of the race. Lord Shank, who just won 2 races ago at Indy, won't be racing at Talladega. Skeeter Davis still on the bubble with one more last chance race to go. We got Dave Marcus, Pantoni, and Far Out Jay. Lots of big names in these last chance races today. And unlike the first 2 segments, they're smooth as butter through the funnel chute and across the finish line. Pantoni and Dave Marcus finished their laps. Far Out Jay, not quite, but he's still got plenty of distance on the rest of the field. He's going to make it in. Pantoni and Dave Marcus make it 28 drivers that finished laps so far. So we're going to count the next 15 drivers here on the track for the last 15 starting spots. And Alan Kulwicki there at the corner makes it 9 before they get onto the front stretch. Dale Jarrett and Elmo Langley, that is 10 and 11. Tony Stewart, 12. Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard, and your 43rd starter is going to be Ricky Craven. And I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but we have a couple of really big names that aren't going to make it in. We have our 2024 champion, Ross Chastain, misses it by 1 spot, and I'm not kidding. Skeeter Davis, that's right. Skeeter Davis is going to DNQ for the Roll Tide 499. There's the cutoff. Absolutely unbelievable. Skeeter Davis, who just won at Darlington last week, got a top 10 in the mods race. DNQs on a self-inflicted error. This is the most shocking DNQ I've ever seen. You see it right here, the replay. Didn't touch the wall at all in the funnel chute, but gets hung up on the guardrail. Would have driven off the track if not for those cars that stalled during the field filler heats and had to be moved to the side of the track. That is absolutely the most shocking DNQ I've seen so far. And here is your lineup. On the pole, Tristan Racewelski. On the outside pole, Charlie. Other front row starters in the rest of the segments, Coffee Tart, Crazy Ruby, Baby Richie, and Clyde. Starting on the outside of the front row for each segment, Morgan Shepherd, William, Riot, Isaac, and Gale, your top 10 starters. Alicia Lunatic and Emerson. Jimbo Rockford in his new car starts 17th, third in his individual segments, so he'll have plenty of time to get to the front, especially at Talladega. That third place starting spot technically is a front row starting spot, because they'll be starting 3 wide. And don't rule out N-Count or one of those Puffs cars that are starting in 4th in their segments, because they start right behind the leader in the middle row. But then again, any one of these guys could win, even Tyler Bloodfish, because it's Talladega. There's going to be lots of chaos. Bump drafting, lead changes, and the big one, of course, is always around the corner. It's going to be one fun race for sure. If you haven't already, leave a comment, hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We'll see you out there on the track.